This weekend, we head back to one of my favourite circuits. We're heading to Italy, and more specifically, Imola. It's time for round 7. The race is going to be 63 laps of the 4.909km classic Formula 1 circuit. The track itself is 19 corners long, and the last winner is, unsurprisingly, Max Verstappen. Remember, in 2023, the race was sadly cancelled due to the weather, so we'll be hoping that rain holds off this year, although there apparently could be rain on the cards for the Sunday. After back-to-back sprint race weekends, we're back to normal this time, with 3 practice sessions, which are going to be extremely important as most teams are bringing big upgrades to Imola. More on that in a little bit. The tyres available to the drivers this weekend are the C3, C4 and C5 tyres, so the softest available in the range. There are some big changes to the track this year as well, that on the surface may seem small but will definitely alter the way drivers approach certain corners. I saw some images doing the rounds on social media, so I loaded up Google Maps to confirm it for myself. Starting with Piratella, you can see the tarmac runoff area has been reduced significantly. The FIA would already be taking lap times off drivers for going too far over the curb anyway, but now drivers will have a more severe penalty if they do run too wide. Then, when you head down to Acqua Minerale, they will also have significantly less runoff there as well. There is still a small tarmac area, but nothing compared to what was there before. I get the feeling this might be more important during qualifying and on the first few laps of the race, when cars will definitely be jostling for position down into that right-hander. Finally, as you head up towards the Gresny chicane, there is now gravel on the outside rather than a tarmac runoff. This one shouldn't really make too much of a difference. I will say that the more recent pictures are clearly a work in progress, so that's why the track doesn't look quite up to par in certain images. I'm sure that the curbs and painting will all be tidied up before the race weekend. While I approve of the extra gravel, I do think the Imola red and white stripes look really good from the air. Ultimately though, it's going to give the drivers less room for error, and that's going to be better for us, the viewers. So what are we expecting from Imola? Well, upgrades. Let's touch on Ferrari. I mentioned this in a video a few days ago, but Ferrari are bringing a very large upgrade to Imola, and they're not the only team to be doing it. We already got a glimpse of the Ferrari upgrades when they did a filming day at their Fiorina test track, but there's big upgrades to the side pods, to the air intake, to the engine cover, around the halo, and the floor. There is a substantial upgrade here. They've gone from an undercut to an overcut. There's a lot to cover with Ferrari, but if you want to go see my thoughts on those upgrades, then I'll leave a link to that video down below. Now, Ferrari aren't the only team to be bringing upgrades to Imola, but it just happens to be the team that we've seen their upgrades from because of their filming day. Mercedes, they are bringing the rest of their upgrade that they halved at Miami. They brought half to Miami and half to Imola, so I believe it's a rear wing and a change to the beam wing for Mercedes. They are not confident though that these upgrades are going to take them closer to Red Bull, so I wouldn't expect too much from them. Aston Martin, they're also bringing upgrades to Imola, and they actually need them because at Miami, they were actually quite slow. They were falling into RB territory, so they actually desperately need upgrades. McLaren, on the other hand, obviously their upgrades came last race, so we already know about that. The unknown here is Red Bull, because if you listen to Helmut Marko, the upgrades that Red Bull are apparently bringing to Imola are also substantial. Substantial to a point that he believes it will give them quite a big jump forward. We don't know exactly what those upgrades are going to be for Red Bull just yet, but that is ominous. We don't know really where the pecking order is going to be at Imola. McLaren, obviously buoyed by their success at Miami, could that car actually be able to compete with Red Bull across other circuits? We don't really know that yet. And then obviously Ferrari's a complete unknown with a substantial upgrade package coming to their car. We have no idea really where they're going to sit in the pecking order. And all of that could just be ruined and thrown out of the window if Red Bull bring an upgrade package that's worth another 2/10, 3/10, half a second. We just don't know. That's why I think Imola is going to be a very interesting race, and it's going to be an interesting point in the season because this is really going to tell us what's going to happen for the rest of the season, or at least it's going to give us an idea. If Red Bull is still ahead after this weekend and that race from Miami was just a one-off, then I think we know exactly where we stand. However, if Ferrari or McLaren are actually able to compete with Red Bull and even win at Imola, then I think we're on for a pretty interesting second half of the season. well, we're not even halfway through the season yet, but that's why I'm interested for Imola, as well as the fact that I just love the circuit. So when the upgrades start rolling out in the paddock and we start getting pictures for Aston Martin, Mercedes and Red Bull, I will be making videos on them as and when that comes. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I will be live streaming all the races or all the race sessions this weekend, so stay tuned. Like and subscribe if you want to be obviously alerted to those live streams and the video content, and I will see you then.